You lot are spoilt today. There's no daily Kudus. We have a dedicated Kudus video, which is a little bit of a shame, actually. But myself and Gio are here discussing it. Before we discuss that, don't forget to check out our raffle. Match worn Kevin Nolan shirt, signed Jared Bowen shirt, signed Paolo Di Canio armband, signed Julian Dix armband.
Mark Noble.
Do I keep saying Julian Dix? I do, don't I?
Does it I thought you were going to get it.
Ah, man, so close, so close. I felt the scrutiny. Gio's eyes were burning into the screen. There you go. £5 a ticket. If you buy 2 tickets, you get the third 3. Closes on Wednesday. Links in the description below. So really, really good. Mega. I'm going to call it the mega raffle. There you go. Right, Mohammed Kudus. Fabrizio Romano's had something to say about it. Matt Law's had something to say about it. I believe the club are, not denying it. And Mohammed Kudus to Tottenham, beggars can't be choosers. Ideally, we sell them nothing. Ideally, they buy nothing from us. But it would appear that Daniel Levy is ready. It's funny how it suits. He's ready to ditch his embargo when it suits him, and he's ready to do business with West Ham. We don't know the prices yet, but Gio, you've got the breaking details on this stuff.
Yeah, Matt Law ran with it originally, saying he was one that sort of broke it. And he's been linked to Spurs quite a lot, but this feels like a significant update because of the journalist that's behind it, because it's 2 big heavyweights here backing each other up. But also, Mohammed Kudus changing agent is quite pivotal in this story. So, yes, Kudus was linked to Spurs a month ago, but since then he's changed agent, and they're the driving force behind it. But Fabrizio Romano's update was Tottenham have genuine interest in Mohammed Kudus, and he's high on the list for the summer, as Matt Law reports. Initial contacts took place with his new agents, who are Roof, while there are more clubs.
That's a nice name. She sounds like a nice lady.
And it says Kudus open to Spurs talks.
Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think when it says talks have happened, what do you think talks between Tottenham and the agency, or Tottenham and West Ham, or what do you think's going on there?
Tottenham and the agent, I'd imagine. I think in this day and age, I imagine all buying clubs go straight to the player's agent and just find out if they're interested, first of all, so don't waste a load of time and trying to get a deal done. So I'd imagine maybe Spurs have contacted Kudus's agent. Perhaps Kudus's new agent has seen all these links. And they're a big footballing agency as well, Ruth. They're not like one man running around looking at
one lady called Ruth.
But it's a big footballing agency. So they will already have contacts at Spurs. They will have contacts at Newcastle, so on and so forth. So it'll be easy for them to find out if any of this rumoured interest is genuine. They'll know pretty quickly. And my guess is maybe they've contacted Spurs. The answers come back saying, yeah, if there's a deal to be done, we're happy. Because at the end of the day, their sales pitches, he's got an 85 million release clause, but he's available for 65 million. It's an easy sell.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd be surprised if Tottenham just swoops straight in and pays 65 million for the player.
So would I, but
yeah, I think probably is. Obviously, you did your video yesterday, but I think they'll try and push it more towards the 50 million. And beggars can't be choosers. So this has all come at exactly the same time, where we had a little bit of a flurry last week, which was we've operated, when I say we, I mean as West Ham fans, operated under the illusion or the instruction or the information, let's put it that way, that we had to sell before we could buy. And then last week, it was it was news that Mother Brown revealed, they said, well, no, the club have set a deadline where if we haven't sold anyone, they will put their own money in. So I think we were then operating on slightly different parameters in terms of what we thought was going to happen. Just before this news broke today, was very much being, I think it was Jacob Steinberg actually, who'd said earlier on today that actually, no, the sell to buy policy is still very much in place, which obviously makes this news sort of extra important, really. I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but we'll get your thoughts on it anyway. He doesn't need to have any loyalty to West Ham. It's not Mark Noble moving to Tottenham Hotspur, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, Kudus there's not bad reflection on Kudus if he goes to Spurs. He came to West Ham, and I think the minute we signed him, actually before we signed him, it was clear his ambition was to come to West Ham and use us as a stepping stone. I think that was why he joined us. Just like that's why when he he didn't join Brighton is because he wanted that security in his contract. He wanted release clauses, and Brighton said, no, you're not getting them because we play hardball when it comes to negotiations and we get good value for our players. So he said, well, I'm not going there then. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to get priced out of our future move. Then we came along and said, oh, yeah, you can have your... And we did the right thing. But Kudus just looked at us as an opportunity to get to the Premier League, play European football, as we were at the time, and get himself into a bigger shop window and eventually get a move to a bigger club in the Premier League. So he's got absolutely no loyalty to us in that regard. It's just, as West Ham fans, we're the ones that are going to have to swallow and stomach it. We thought Rice going to Arsenal was bad. I think this is potentially another level. And when we've spoke about it before, and people say, well, why would Tottenham do business with West Ham? I understand it. However, I'm quite sure Daniel Levy will see this as getting one up on David Sullivan. If he's able to go to West Ham, take Mohammed Kudus and pay 15 million less than what we're wanting, that's 1-0 Daniel Levy. There's only one winner here, and it's not David Sullivan. So I think there is a small compromise on West Ham's behalf. I don't want to see him go to Tottenham, but like you said at the very start, beggars can't be choosers. There is no bidding war. No. It's not happening. You know, we can't even pretend there is one now with Chelsea. We can't even say, oh, yeah, they're interested in because they're signing Pedro and Gittins. There's people trying to go, well, no, they're not. Like, they've done their business for wingers. So we can't even bluff anymore. No. The poker face is gone. Daniel Levy knows the situation West Ham are in, and I think he's here to take advantage of it. And he's probably laughing his arse off at the prospect of taking one of our better players for less than what is market value.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, he'll not be doing an Arsenal type deal. He'll be paying this over 5 years and under the terms that he wants. I'm not sure how much of a financial boost this is actually going to give us because we still actually owe money to Ajax for this player, and the amortization on him will not be particularly favourable. I have to say about that. Just before we talk about, a couple of the reasons why I think that they're going to pull our pants down on this, please point in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark, who's whatever. The logo will be up there bouncing around on your screen. At the moment, Surfshark are a VPN that we got a really, really good discount for. In fact, better than discount, we can offer you 4 months free plus a 30-day money-back guarantee on what we believe to be the industry leaders in VPNs. And a VPN is certainly something that you're going to be needing for your mobile phone. You're going to be needing it for your laptop. You're going to be needing it for your computer, because what it does a number of things. There's all sorts of bells and whistles on there, actually. If you go into the dashboard, you can do all manner of things to the point where maybe the sort of thing you might have previously used a firewall for. It's doing all that stuff, but it does a lot more besides as well. And particularly when you're on the go, it will change your geolocation, which enables you to access I was going to say naughty content. I don't know about that sort of thing. Nice content, not naughty and nice content. You can fool your computer and fool your phone into thinking you're somewhere else. There you go, which will allow you to upload, download different bits and pieces that you might not ordinarily be able to do from your current location. More importantly, it's going to mask, encrypt, and protect. So if you're doing things like on your public Wi-Fi, you're out on 5G, you're using your mobile banking app, or you've got a particularly precious password, then it's encrypting all that stuff so nobody else gets to see it and nobody else can get access to your private business. Links in the description below, surfshark.com/Hammers Chat. But if you just go onto Surfshark and want a discount is Hammers Chat, all one word. I think with the Kudus one, and in terms of people dropping out for him, you can't really argue with what clubs are trying to do, because last season was poor, was really, really poor from Kudus. And for whatever reason, and it was under 2 different managers. So let's be fair. I don't want to just blame it all on Potter. In many respects, he was worse under Lopetegui. He actually had a Barney and had his fisticuffs with Van der Ven and all that stuff that happened, which makes it really interesting, actually, because didn't Richarlison ended up on the floor? Someone else ended up on the floor, Mickey Van der Ven. That's going to be quite interesting, really, to see what happens there. But he was not the player and not the commodity that we thought he was. And I do wonder, when you were saying that he'd insisted on getting a buyout clause from Brighton and they didn't give him one, I bet he's surprised how it's turned out now, because I think he would have thought he would be a lot more in demand than he has been. But if you look at Arsenal, for instance, are looking at Anthony Gordon, they were looking at Abir Eze. Well, both of those, if you're going on last season, both of those are better options. You'd have to say, well, they're right to do that. If you look at Manchester United and Brian Mbeumo, they're right to do that. You would pick Mbeumo over Kudus, because once you start looking at what these clubs are looking to do instead of Kudus, you're thinking, well, he's talented. He's very talented. He should be doing better. And you're sort of scraping the bottom of the barrel and saying, well, a couple of seasons ago, he was the best dribbler in Europe. And you're looking at things like that. But actually, last season, there's not an awful lot. And as much as I'd love to get 65, 70 million for him, I am looking at some of those other players and thinking they might provide a little bit of better value and probably guarantee you, particularly in the case of Mbeumo, of course. And I think actually didn't Eze finish the season with 7 goals in 7 games or something like that?
And also he's got a release clause of 6 to 8 million. So
are you looking? You're looking more guaranteed Premier League output than you are with Kudus. You know, maybe he's got a bit more promise on his side and a little bit more youth. But yeah, I the more I look at it, the more I do think we are very much beggars in this situation, and we need the catalyst, we need the spark, we need something to get our transfer window going, because and I hate to say these words, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you'll agree, we probably need Tottenham now.
David Sullivan needs Tottenham. I think that's a better way of wording it, perhaps. I think the only I'm dead against this idea, but the reality is the picture being painted by the club is if we don't sell him, we can't really. I mean, David Sullivan doesn't need a VPN on the club's mobile phone because there's nothing pinched from the bank anyway. You can have a look all you want. There's nothing there. But the picture being painted is unless we can't buy until we sell, well, here's something that is factual. It's July tomorrow. We've still not bought anyone. So those claims, those reports are stacking up. Had we went and signed someone, say, well, that was wrong, wasn't it? We've been able to sign someone. But we haven't. We've been spectators in the transfer window so far.
Yeah.
And I imagine Macaulay, Potter, possibly even Brady and Sullivan, they're probably itching to get involved. They're probably itching to start bringing players in. But they really can't until someone goes. They're in a real desperate situation. And Levy's here to take advantage of it. He's here to take the piss, get a player on the cheap in his eyes. And I just hope that we can be a little bit savvy with this one. And if we have to take less than the 65, and I fear we will, because of the situation we find ourselves in, try and get a player or two on loan from Tottenham at the same time. Because if they're going to break this unofficial transfer embargo, try and take advantage of it, right? You've not been able to buy anyone from Spurs for over a decade. Now it's gone because of them. But actually say, okay, you can have him for your 50, but we want Bissouma as well. So put Bissouma in there with your 50 million, and then we'll have him. Someone we know played incredibly well under Graham Potter at Brighton. Someone that would make a big difference. Someone who, towards the end of the season, he was important for Postecoglou. But prior to that, he was in and out of the team a little bit. And they've got good options in midfield with Bentancur, Sarr, Bergvall, and that's without signing anyone else. So could we get someone like Bissouma out of Spurs in this deal? Probably not.
That's a great shout. That's a great shout, though.
I just think just be wise. Even if you get 55 million plus Bissouma on loan for the season, it's not ideal, but it's a player you've got, a position that you've sorted now without spending any money. So I think that just try and make this deal as good as you can, because the Declan Rice thing, you could stomach it a little bit because we end up getting 100 million plus potentially 5 more. So it's like, all right, they're getting a top player. He's going to be a big miss, but it's a lot of money. 50 million doesn't feel like a lot of money for Kudus. It doesn't feel like there's a but here. If anything, it's, I know he's going to Spurs. Oh, we didn't even get that much money for him. It's like a double blow. So I think we've got to try and do some good negotiating here to turn it away from that, to turn it into a good deal for West Ham. Unfortunately, Gonzo, I'm not confident. I actually think we're going to get the piss taken out of us by Spurs here. That's another worry of mine. I don't see us coming out of this looking like we've had the better deal. It's all heavily on Spurs' side of them taking advantage of a horrible situation that we're in. And I think if you're going to be in a bad situation, just stop it getting any more embarrassing. But then selling one of your best players to Tottenham for cheap, I think that's making it even more embarrassing.
Yeah,
this is a bad deal for us, but we're desperate.
Yeah, we are. I completely agree. I like your creative thinking on there as well, mate. I was going to say in the comments below, I was going to say, let us know what you think David Sullivan would use a VPN for. But rather than that, what I think.
Legal lawsuit coming your way.
Oh, no, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. No. What I think would be, how many players? 55 million. Let's say 50 million. How many players are we going to get for that? I'll tell you now. I'm not going to keep you dangling. I think two. And yeah. Anyway, cheers for joining me, Gio. I think this is going to move pretty quickly now. It just feels slightly different. So yeah, don't forget the raffle.